I own SuperCuts in Yuba City and Orville. I'm a franchise owner, and I've owned SuperCuts here in Yuba City since 1989. And we opened and built Orville SuperCuts in 1991. Born and raised here in Yuba City, Marysville, so I'm homegrown. Westhaven, being a locally owned company, made all the difference for me. It was, we shopped around. We looked at the big companies. We considered local versus the big. It was very personal. There were a few people we knew or had connections of knowing through other members in the community. Their cost was effective. The best thing I liked about it, and my husband and I learned as we went, was we felt their solar panel was a better quality, caught more of the sun and retained it. It was more, for layman's term, more of a honeycomb than other things we'd seen. And we did look at the numbers. We felt it was a higher producer, and since we did 50 plus panels on top of our SuperCuts here in Yuba City, it was important that we had something that we felt was really going to be long-term, well-made, and high producing. If you're talking about whether we waited long enough or whether people waited long enough, in 2004 I bought my Prius. A half electric and half gas car. I waited through the first and second generation to pick my Prius. Now there have been new generations, but I've now got 235,000 miles on it, love it, and it's still functional. And yes, it was slightly more expensive, but worth every penny. Same with solar. It has gone through generations. It was back in the 80s when I had built a home out in Terra Buena, and it has been through generations, and I feel now that it will have the 25 to 30 year production life that, and we literally, and it sounds like a lot, but we literally will be completely paid off with a cost-effective, usable and handleable payment in 7 years. Now when you're talking a 25 to 30 year use for 2 suites in a commercial business, that would be between $600 and $800 a month. That's a big ticket. And we're now at like $19 on one suite and $25 on the other suite, where we used to be $150 and $650. That's a big savings. So that's why it'll happen so fast. And then the next, say if it was a 25-year shelf life, in the next 15 years or 17 years, we have free energy, so to speak. It's awesome. We took 2 years to make this choice, and we discussed it for 2 years because we knew for us it was a $50,000 investment. We don't like to finance a lot of money, so in our case, again, we used investment money to do it because we became our own financer. There's also lots of other options for low-cost financing. What we're going to get for benefit from, I don't know if they'll still be around for very long, from the energy benefits, from PG&E, and from the government, is those are just like icing on the cake instead of, what was the real numbers. The real numbers is, will it produce what it needs for itself? And I was skeptical, not skeptical anymore. It's been at least 6-8 months, if I remember correctly, and it's pretty nice seeing those tiny little things. I'm going, oh look, it's in the teens,
That's what
We didn't seem to have any trouble at all with the permitting. We were basically just on for the ride. You guys professionals did that. There was never a time, except for when we reviewed the pages that were either with the city, county, or whatever officials, and with PG&E, which was probably, I would assume for you guys, the most complicated. We were just reading the pages, understanding what we had, signing them, and you guys just made it all happen. That's awesome, because the lower investment in time and thought after you've researched the feasibility of the concept, the better for everybody involved. And that's what you guys do for a living, and you kind of leave a techie to do a techie's work.
Right,
and that's
exactly.
where we stayed, and we like that. I really don't take things out of somebody else's hands when they're making it happen.
Yeah.
There's just too many other things to do, like grandkids and life and travel.
Yeah.
So why would you worry about something, again, that's working,
Right.
that's low maintenance and a no-brainer? Again, when we're collectively between two bills averaging $800 a month, and we're now collectively averaging under $50 a month, and in 7 years that will completely be paid for and will supposedly, which I believe, continue to have shelf life. Where is the thought in that? And businesses are long term. I've owned mine since '89. It's now what? 215. It's a long time, 26 years. So I mean, that would be almost the whole shelf life of the thing. It's to me a no-brainer. I intend for this company, if all goes well and our customers continue to love us, to move on and stay here, and my children take over it as I go run and play. So it's one of those things that it's a long-term investment. You own your home for a long term, you own your business for a long term. Why not use the sun instead of pay PG&E for something else?
Oh, you made my job pretty easy.